Hey everybody, welcome to verifiedinvesting.com. My name is Gareth Soloway, Chief Market Strategist here. In today's video, we're going to deep dive into the Nvidia chart and the semiconductor SMH ETF. And the reason why is that number one, we had a significant breakdown a few weeks ago that I alerted to on Nvidia. And since then, it has behaved exactly like you would expect. And then the SMH semiconductor ETF has a nasty head and shoulders, which is a bearish technical pattern. It has not triggered yet, but it is right at that neckline. If we get a close below this, you're looking at like another $20 down on the SMH, which probably implies Nvidia goes back to about $154. And I'm show you how I get to those levels. All right, diving right into the charts. Remember, no BS, just charts. Here's that trend line, right? So this was your trend line that goes back to your April low. So remember the Liberation Day sell-off. Here it was all the way up. Look at that. All the way up, hammering over and over again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And on the sixth hit, it broke. Now, a lot of people saw the break as no big deal because most people didn't see this trend line. I did. And this told me that, sure, you're going to get buy dippers to bounce it back up. It's going to even make a short-term slightly higher high, which is very normal. The bulls have to be thinking positively there. But then you look at the next leg down, and sure enough, we've made short-term lower lows. This low we've now taken out right here, which tells you again that we have a lower low scenario. Now, again, is it going to go straight down? Probably not. Charts generally don't go straight down, but you have to be fully aware that the top is now in, likely for the cycle on Nvidia. Where is this going to go down? Well, let's flip over to the SMH. So the first thing on the SMH that we have to monitor here is an absolutely remarkable trend line. Look at this trend line right here. So this trend line goes back to November of 2023 to this pivot low here in 2024 August to the low in September, all through these lows right through here and this high. And you can see how important that is. And look at where Nvidia topped right at that line. Now, let's get rid of that trend line because I want to show you the head and shoulders pattern here. All right, if we go to the head and shoulders drawing tool, we have a great chart pattern right here. Okay, and look at this, guys. Look at this head and shoulder pattern. That is what we would call a thing of beauty in technical analysis. Shoulder, head, shoulder. Notice how the low today pierced briefly the neckline, but it's above. It has to break that neckline to trigger. So again, if it triggers, look at this. If it triggers, you can do a measured move to find out what the downside target is. And it would basically be a break, let's say right here. It takes you down to basically 260 to 255. And what's amazing about that, if you get this type of drop, another 8% drop on the SMH, where do you think Nvidia is going to go? All right, my guess is it's going to go right down here. You have your former all-time highs, which will act as support now. Beautiful level right here of support. And look at this, guys, right through here. That's where you're looking for Nvidia to come down to about, to be honest, this looks like it's right around the 153, 154 level. All right, so that would be that target level right there on Nvidia. And again, a absolute beautiful chart here. Absolutely fantastic chart showcasing. And by the way, you could almost make a case you have a head and shoulders here too, right in here. And let's do the measurement on that just to see. We'll draw it in first so you guys can all kind of, see the chart setup. So again, this isn't as good because you technically made a slightly higher high with a tail, but nonetheless, it's still there and it's down sloping. But if we just factor that in and we just say, okay, well, what's your downside target here? We drag this down there and look at this. Boom, right to the target. I mean, this is what I love, guys. This is absolutely, I adore this stuff. This is technical analysis at its finest. On the semis, understanding the break on Nvidia was the warning sign. Then we had the retrace, which gets those last people, the last bulls thinking it's going to buy the dippers. They go long there. Then the bottom, the rug gets pulled out. The next flush takes them out and drives it down to that former level. And the SMH confirming it is even more remarkable. And again, this is technical analysis at its finest, how you can really guide yourself. You'll never be 100%. Again, my goal, like I always say, I want to win 75 to 80% of the time. That's what I can do. That still leaves, 2 out of every 10. I'm going to be wrong, maybe a little bit more than that. But overall, learning how to read the charts is the one way that I can compete and beat the institutions, and you can compete and beat the institutions. Don't let them bully you with emotion, with social media. By the way, how many troll accounts out there do you think get pumped by institutions that they pump some asset one way or the other to trigger you emotionally? I'm telling you, it happens. It happens. The social media, especially mainstream media, has narratives, and that throws people off too. But social media is the one area where people flock for information and it's actually used against them. And I want you guys to know this stuff. I want you guys to the nth degree to understand the pitfalls. There's literally holes that you're going to fall into out there. And I will do my best to fight for you and help you help reveal all of these secrets to you. And by the way, these are all secrets that I fell into the holes. And so if my lessons, my hard lessons that cost me money can be advantageous to you to avoid falling in maybe as many times. I mean, everyone falls in occasionally, but avoid a majority of them. That's the best. That is the best, folks. And you guys seriously drive me amazingly here to be the best I can be, to help you guys out there. And again, I didn't mean this to be a sermon out there and kind of get involved, but when I look at the NVIDIA chart, when I look at what we see in these charts, right? When we look at the SMH and the beauty of this and how it mirrors an NVIDIA dump out to this level here, which by the way, you'll get a significant bounce off of. This is what I dream about finding in the charts, where again, it won't be 100%. There's always a chance it deviates and changes, but I'm looking at the charts every day and I can tell when it starts to deviate and probabilities start to flip around. But right now, if we get the neckline breaks on the head and shoulders, this thing should head down. NVIDIA should see 153, 154, and the SMH 260 or so is likely. All right, thank you so much for tuning in. Come find us at verifiedinvesting.com, where again, I run smart money stocks and ETFs. It's a swing trade service. Everything I do in there is geared towards probability based off chart analysis. And that is the essence of everything I do there and everything my traders do. We are technicians of the charts. We have no biases. We let the charts tell us what to do, understanding that we can get to about a 70, 75, 80% win rate. And that's what we can do. And the money takes care of itself when your win rate is that high. Have a great one as always, folks. Come join us here at verifiedinvesting.com. Thank you so much.